Hi, welcome back. Welcome to Growth Catalyst Lab. In, in today's session, I'm going to share my story of how I blew the golden chance of getting into IIMs. In spite of great preparation, in spite of cracking that exam, how? Because I was overconfident, because I had no clue, because I had not prepared, and because I lost before it all began, how I blew my chances. Here I go. I'm going to share my story. It was 1993. I had done extremely well in terms of preparation for the CAT. I was doing my engineering back in Coimbatore, and I was very sure that I'm going to get that call from IIMs. Yes, the call came. I was not surprised at all. I was very, very happy that I'm now going to make it. Somewhere in my mind, I had kind of already made it because the written exam is supposed to be the toughest one, CAT exam, the toughest one across all exams. Cracked that exam. I was very happy. But you know what? I had not done one iota of preparation for that interview. I had no idea how to prepare. I had not bothered asking anyone. I was busy in my exams, in my engineering, but did not even bother about preparation of interview. I thought I had cracked my written exam. Yeah, this is the most and the toughest exam. How difficult can it be in terms of interview? Yeah, they will ask them questions. I should be able to answer. I had conveniently forgotten that I am from a small town place called Pondicherry. I had conveniently forgotten that I had never ever faced any interview in my life. I had conveniently forgotten that I have not prepared. I had conveniently forgotten that my communication skills, speaking in English, are below par. I had forgotten all of that. Not forgotten is the wrong word. I had not even thought about any of this. I had not reached out to anyone to ask for help. I had not asked anyone as to how these interviews go. Those were the days where YouTube did not exist. Those were the days Instagram was not there. Those were the days Wi-Fi did not exist as we know today. So I was completely blissfully unaware, blissfully ignorant of what needs to be done. Got a call. The interview was supposed to be at IIM-B campus. Got into a bus, landed in Bangalore one hazy, cloudy, smoky morning. Went to the IIM-B campus. I was given a room. The interview was starting at about 10:30 in the morning. There was a GD before that. Rested, went to the venue at about 9:30 when the GD was starting. GD starting. It went well. We all spoke in our turns. It was a well moderated by good people over there who knew what they were doing. So it was smooth and solid, and that also gave me a lot of false confidences. See, I could do the GD, so I'm going to do the interview very well. I walk into the interview room. I see three people sitting there. One of them was reading some newspaper. I also used to read newspapers. So we used to get Hindu at home. And in my mind, reading newspaper is equal to reading the sports column of the Hindu. That's all. I was not interested in politics. I was not interested in too much of national affairs, international affairs, and so on and so forth. Me, my books, my course, that's it. That's what I was. That's the exposure I had. So here I'm walking into the room. I see this gentleman reading Economic Times. I'd seen the newspaper in my college library. Nothing more than that. Walk in. I was asked to sit down, sat down. He looked up. Did you read newspapers today? Yes, sir, I did. I didn't know that I was walking into a trap. What a trap it was. Next question. What is the gold rate today? And that was a bouncer. Got hit on the head. And I'm down and bleeding, and I didn't even know it at that point in time. I remember thinking, gold rates, do these things get published in the newspaper? What, yaar? How come I have never seen this? I've never seen this because I never looked for it. I never seen this because that was not my life. I was used to buying things from my nearby ration shop for my home. I'm used to buying kerosene. I'm used to buying sugar. I'm used to buying palm oil those days. But I've never bought gold in my life. I never thought about gold in my life. But here I am walking into a business school to do business studies. And I should have at least thought about what they would typically ask in business school interviews. I never thought about it. And here I am getting bold on the first ball, getting hit by a bouncer on the very first question. So I was blinking. I could not even answer. I was just staring, open mouth. So the gentleman looked at me and the second Yorker came. Okay, what is the dollar rate today? Dollar rate? What is that? I could at least understand the gold rate. What is this dollar rate, yeah? Not heard about it. And I knew, I knew something was really, really wrong. All my preconceived notions of cracking the cat and getting into IIMs got smashed and killed in those two questions. One was a bouncer and one was a Yorker. I was felled in the first ball. I was clean bowled in the second ball. That's it. I knew. I was very clear that that's it. It got over. First two questions I could not answer. Come on, yeah. What more is there? Something is seriously wrong with me. I have no exposure. I didn't even know these two first questions. And there's a lot more to come. Two more people are there to ask me questions. And gone. And that's it. That's it. I decided I've lost it. And now I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to get up. I didn't know how to gear up for next questions. And I was staring at him open mouthed. So he, with mercifully, he stopped asking me questions and the other panel members took over. I remember they asking me about my engineering course, about how I would go about a biogas plantation, which is part of my agriculture engineering course back in Coimbatore. And they were asking me about a few things about my max, few things about calculus, few things about different subjects that uh, I was going through, and I could answer most of the questions very well. But truth to be told, all of those things, all that part of interview is completely hazy in my memory. That's just a swirling thought, not a clear memory like this. Because I was down and out, and I had decided that gone, yeah. I mean, first two questions I could answer. I didn't know what this dollar rate is. I don't know the gold rate. Maybe these are the most important things, most basic things that people are supposed to know. I didn't even know this. And therefore, if you don't know your basics, you don't have a right to win, right? So I don't have a right to win here. That I've decided. I'm very clear. I'm out of this place. And everything else was a formality. Whatever else has was happening during that interview, and there was a lot of questions being asked by the rest of the two members. And because they were from my courses and I was a reasonably decent student those days, I could answer them well. But I don't think there was energy. I don't think there was focus in what I was doing. I was going through motions after the first questions. I came out. I remember coming out with hunched shoulders, stooped shoulders, and completely defeated. Defeat written all over me. I mean, you could have seen me that day and say that this guy has lost that. It could have been that easily palpable to touch and feel. I remember thinking about the day for a very, very long time. And I remember for a long time I thought that I didn't know the answers to some of the basic fundamental economic questions, business questions that people who are entering the business school are supposed to know. And I didn't know that. And therefore I lost. For almost the entirety of that year, I thought if only I knew answers to those two questions, I could have made it. I fervently believed that. Then after my MBA at Pondicherry University and after I started working, when I used to think about it, I thought that maybe those two questions were not the reasons why I lost. I could have still gotten through if only I had answered overall very well. But I did not answer overall very well because you know what? My communication skills were not good. Uh, Lad from small city, Pondicherry, and lack of exposure in terms of speaking, lack of exposure in terms of attending interview, and therefore my lack of communication skills must be the reason why I lost that. Then, after a lot of thought process, thinking, one day it struck me that none of those two are the reasons. I lost the day because I believed within the two questions that I lost. It's my mindset which made me feel that which you have lost. You have no right to be here. And you didn't know even these two first questions, which are supposed to be basic, supposedly easy questions. You are asked easy questions at the start of the interview. Nah? So if those two easy questions you don't know, then you are not fit to be there. You made those conclusions. Your mind told me that you have lost it. That is the reason. Yes, your communication skills were low. Yes, you didn't know the answers to those two questions. But more than that, you decided you lost, and therefore you lost. Nothing more than that. You could have recovered very easily, could have answered it in any billion manners possible, any billion ways possible, could have joked around, completed the thought process. You decided to stay low. You decided not to get up. And even out of the count of, forget 10, count of 100, you decided not to get up. And I remember being in a dazed state during the entire course of that interview. And that is because I decided I lost it. The learning is very simple. What I want to share is very simple. That learning, that interview, that loss, and the thoughts and the thinking process that I've gone through because I lost that interview has been tremendously helpful to me. Sometimes I also think that if I had not lost that interview, probably I won't have learned the one of the greatest valuable lessons I ever learned in my life. I realized that I decided I lost and therefore I lost. In cricket, people say that you have not lost the match till the very last ball is bowled. I remember India winning the 83 Cricket Cup final, one day final. And during the set of the matches, in one of the match against Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe was not a very fancy team, against Zimbabwe, we were in a spot of huge bother. We were down 5 wickets for 17 runs on the board. And that match, unfortunately, was not recorded for posterity. One of the finest innings ever played by anybody under such a tremendous pressure. Kapil Dev walking in, 5 down for 17, not worried, not bothered at all. He took them to cleaners with his power hitting and fantastic pacing of innings. And India finished on a high, then went on to beat Zimbabwe, and that momentum carried them through the finals and beyond finals. India beat the mighty West Indies in the finals. All that was possible because one man decided that we are not down and out. One man decided that I'm going to play here. I'm going to play whatever happens. I'm going to win the match for India. And I used to think about it, saying that I have heard about the match. I'm an avid cricket fan, follow cricket news. I know about that match. I know how the entire Indian team came out of nowhere to win the tournament. They were not favorites. And especially in that match against Zimbabwe, how we were completely down and out, and yet we managed to come back and win. I knew all about that, but I never applied those lessons in that one crucial time that I needed to apply. I did not even bother to remember that. More than that, you need preparation. It's not only mindset that helps you, the mindset is molded by your preparation. And here I was, blissfully unaware of what to even prepare, what to even get together. I had access to all the resources in terms of my teachers, my mentors. All of them would have helped me if only I had asked them how to go about that. I didn't bother asking anyone. I didn't ask for help. I didn't even know that I needed to prepare. I was maybe arrogantly confident about my chances because I had done extremely well. So, some of the basic lessons learned at huge cost, but those lessons thankfully stay with me till date. They help me whenever I'm looking down the barrel on a business deal, on a project, when things seem to be completely lost. I tell myself, Vishy, you have been there before. You have been in this situation before and you let yourself down. You told yourself that you're lost, and you lost. You lost because you told yourself that two questions I'm not able to answer, and therefore I don't have a right to be here. You told yourself during the course of that interview, and you went through the motions after the first two questions, and that changed the way you are now. You could have gone there in the best of the institutions of India. You didn't. And solely because of your decision after the first two questions. Hiccups happen, stumbles happen, but just because you stumble, you decide that you don't have a right to be on the stage. Just because you stumble on the way to the stage, that's stupid, and you are stupid. So remember that lesson. And now, in this business deal, in this project, are you going to give up? I asked myself that question many, many times. Those lessons from that day are etched in my memory. Thankfully, because I lost, because I drew those lessons from that day, I think I have been much, much better off. Sometimes I don't know whether Providence smiled on me or Providence shied away from me that day. And more I think about it, I think Goddess luck actually smiled and taught me a great lesson. But for that lesson, I don't think I would be what I am today. Simple lessons. I want to leave 4 lessons with you at the end of this episode. 1, simple. Don't ever give up till you are truly, really defeated. And life is a marathon game. It's not, it's not even a one-day match. It's not even a 2020 match. It's not a half an hour innings that gets over. It's a long-term contract. It's a series of battles that you need to battle towards the victory. And victory, we don't know where the victory is going to happen. So remember that just because you are stumbling on the way to your stage, don't give up the stage. Just because you are not able to answer the first 2 questions, don't give up the interview. Just because 2 things, 3 things are not going your way, don't give up on your life. That's the first and most important lesson that I would leave. Second, obviously, preparation. There's no replacement for preparation. Ask around what needs to be done, check around what needs to be done. Today with YouTube, Instagram, mentors, everybody online, it's more easy than ever, but you still need to sit and prepare for whatever you are trying to go and get. It could be an interview, it could be a match, it could be a business deal, it could be a project. Prepare so that your confidence is sky high, and prepare for every eventuality which can happen. The third thing that I want to leave you is, even when you go down, get up. It's not, you are not defined by how many times you fall. You are defined by how quickly you are able to get up every time that you fall. You may fall 100 times, but if you are able to get up every single 100 times, then you are made, you are done. That's what you should do. The fourth and the last thing that I want to leave you with is that reflect. Reflect on your victories, and more importantly, reflect on your losses. Reflect on your defeats, because defeat is not final. But unless you reflect, unless you draw the lessons, unless you tell yourself, okay, this is the lesson I'm learning and I'm going to apply this lesson to my next project. I'm going to apply this lesson to my next interview. I'm going to apply this lesson to my next battle. You are not going to be better off. I'm better off today because I drew the lessons from that. It was a painful day, painful lesson, but because I drew the lessons and the lessons kept changing, I thought that I lost it because I didn't know. I thought it was my ignorance. I thought I lost it because my lack of communication skills. But finally, I understood that maybe these are reasons, but the most important reason is my own mindset. And that was the greatest lesson that I drew from my own failure. So draw the lessons, apply the lessons, become better. Wishing you all the very best in all your endeavors. See you in our next episode. Please like and subscribe to the channel.